Hi everyone, welcome to 2022. It's Monique and Megan from Soapy Smooches. We are back. We have actually been back since last week Monday, but it's been a hectic week with lots of clients. We're blessed and we wish the same for you this year, right?
Yes.
We are experiencing some great influx of new clients, of lots of rain, so what can we say? It's ideal.
It is.
And speaking of the topic of rain and summer again, I thought maybe today, Megan, I could ask you about
Always makes me a bit nervous.
about ear infection. You know, my Candy, my little one. And it seems to be my dogs who have got ears that are down rather than standing up ears, because Dee Dee's got standing up ears and her ears are not infected, but it's really about ear infection. Candy keeps on scratching and she keeps on, like, I could see it's uncomfortable, and Sky is starting with the same thing. First of all, ear infections, are they contagious?
Yes, ear infections can be contagious. It does depend on the type of infection, but most of them are bacterial, which does mean that they can be, you know, kind of cross-contaminated either between the same dog with their left and their right ear, or depending on the type of dog and how prone they are to it, it can infect, you know, your other dogs that you have at home as well. But luckily it's not contagious to people. So if you're worried about getting an ear infection yourself, the chances are it won't happen.
No. All right. So then the other thing I wanted to ask, because we have a lot of clients asking us about ear infections and actually kind of saying their dogs have an ear infection because of the grooming. Is that true, or is that something that can be prevented? What can we do to prevent that from happening?
Yes. So it is 100% possible that your dogs can develop an ear infection from grooming. Usually the cause of that would be having water trapped in the ear, which would usually happen during the bathing process. What we do, as you know, here at Soapy Smooches, we do plug the ears with cotton wool. And that is to prevent, you know, sort of excess water from getting into that ear and getting trapped in the ear and staying there for long periods of time, which would then lead to an ear infection. For dogs that we're aware of that are prone to ear infections, I know some of the clients out there know that their dogs just get ear infections no matter what.
Mine also do.
Yeah, and so what we try to do with them, we will plug with the cotton wool, and we also try and avoid wetting the head completely. So in those cases, you know, we will wet a towel or something like that and rather wipe the head down rather than, you know, get the entire head soaking wet. And that does tend to prevent the ear infections. It does stop that water from logging into the ear. And yeah, then we end up with a nice clean dog without having any sort of problems after the grooming.
Yeah, and it seems like, because I looked inside, I'm really not a vet at all, as you know, but I looked inside Candy's ear and it seems to be red, and I think it's just from all the scratching she does.
Yes.
What causes this apart from water? Because Candy hasn't been in water, sadly, because you know it's a groomer's dog and she gets the last chance. But
so they say the panel beater's car will always have a dent in it. Same with dog grooming.
the groomer's dogs, I'm going to have to find another groomer to groom my own dogs. How bad is that? Anyway, but Candy hasn't been near water, so what causes it apart from water?
So Candy, if I'm not mistaken, is a Yorkie, and there are certain breeds that do tend to be prone to ear infections, and unfortunately, again, it is the smaller breed dogs, like your Yorkies, your Beavers, your Minpins, that sort of thing, and it really is just because of the size of the ear canal. Things tend to get stuck in there. Unfortunately, sometimes the wax production can be too much or too little, which can cause an irritation. And like you said, with the ears that sort of sit flush on the head and don't stand up kind of pointy, it does still trap moisture in there even if there's no water around. You know, so all that moisture that should be kind of flowing freely past the ear does get trapped by all that hair and the flap sitting flat against the ear, and that also then leads to the ear infections and the complications that come from that.
And then I heard or I read an article the other day about ear plucking for dogs.
Yes.
So I know schnauzers are those kind of dogs
that-
that
yes.
What's the purpose of that? Is it to prevent ear infections, or is it just because people want their dogs to look nice?
So specifically with schnauzers, I know some people do like their dog's ears plucked because they find it easier to keep clean, they find it easier to keep an eye on the ear. You know, for your Yorkies and things, it just makes it easier to see if there is an infection starting to develop, you know, so you can kind of nip it in the bud before it gets too serious.
Yes.
With regards to schnauzers specifically and your French poodles, ear plucking can really be a necessity. It's not only a looks thing, it is to prevent ear infections, because schnauzers, I remember the first time I saw it, it was completely horrifying. when they pluck the ears, sometimes you'll see that the hair has grown almost 3 or 4 inches into that ear. And it comes out as a sort of spiral, and it is very uncomfortable for the dog, and it can cause ear infections because it completely blocks off that ear canal. And I have had a Schnauzer owner make a joke about the fact that it does help with obedience when you pluck the ears, because they tend to be able to hear a bit better. Yes. So it is definitely for Schnauzers and your French Poodles. Obviously it varies from dog to dog, but most of them, they do need the ear plucking, otherwise you do end up with ear complications.
Yes.
Yeah.
A friend of mine has got 4 Schnauzers, and they swim in the river and they do stuff, so I can imagine them getting ear infections.
And it's quite scary. If I get one of my groomers to pluck, I think we should actually show you on the video, because it is like something out of a horror film. It is really just a long piece of hair, and it's sort of clump of hair that's grown straight into that ear in the shape of the ear. It's very odd.
Sure.
It is. It's quite scary.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think that's interesting to know, because I think, most people don't ask and they don't know, and then, this is an extra kind of reason why, we've got a butterfly flying around.
Yeah.
So that's an extra reason why dogs get ear infection. I often take my own dogs to the vet because, sometimes it really gets bad because I don't know what home remedy I can really use. I've got some of that ear stuff that you can put in Opti ear or something that can, that can clear the mucus out the ear, but sometimes it's not enough.
Correct.
So do you know of any home remedies that one can use to clear this up?
Yes, so the one that you've mentioned, which is the Opticare, is a great one. It's the one that you put straight into the ear canal and you massage it in and basically stand back, and the dog will shake its head, and all of that sort of loose wax and excess dirt does come out. And then you get your Epiotic, which is not to put straight into the ear canal, but it is more to sort of wipe around the channel, the sort of opening to the ear. And doing that on a regular basis, if you know your dog is prone to ear infections, does make a huge difference. But as you've discovered as well, sometimes it is just something that happens anyway. You might be able to prolong the time between your vet visits, but with some dogs, unfortunately, it is just a recurring thing, which does need a vet visit and sometimes antibiotics. But yeah, for the majority of dog owners, you can manage it at home. But for those select few that are prone to it, unfortunately, as you would have discovered, it is an ongoing process between you and your vet. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks, Megan. This was one of the more interesting things, especially because it's a very relevant problem that I have right now, and I'm sure a lot of you out there also have this problem.
Especially now after the rain, as you mentioned. Yeah.
Hopefully this was of help to you. We hope to see you soon, and we wish you a great week ahead. Take care. Bye now.
Thank you.